I'm Jen, the Holistic Health Boss, your functional diagnostic health practitioner and expert. And this week, I want to talk to you about 3 steps to supporting and healing your thyroid if you have a thyroid issue. Now, in this 3-part blog series over the last few weeks, I've been sharing with you the major steps that I took and also the steps that I guide my clients through to support and heal the thyroid naturally. This is a topic that I feel incredibly passionate about as someone who has become a thyroid statistic myself when I was diagnosed back in 2016 with Hashimoto's hypothyroidism. It's estimated that 1 in 3 women have a thyroid disorder such as hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, Graves' disease, or Hashimoto's. And although men are less likely to have thyroid issues, I've definitely seen my fair share of men who have been struggling with them too. Now, I'm grateful to say that within 6 months of being diagnosed with Hashimoto's hypothyroidism, I was in remission, and now my thyroid test results couldn't be more perfect, and I feel like my old, healthy, energetic, and vibrant self again. But unfortunately, not all women or men have their thyroid properly checked, and those who are diagnosed with a thyroid disorder aren't always provided with the right lab tests or resources to get their thyroid issues under control as quickly as I did or ever in their lifetime. Now, most people who are diagnosed with a thyroid issue are immediately prescribed thyroid medication, which can provide instant relief for those who are suffering, but medication is not necessarily a long-term solution, and it certainly does not solve whatever the root of the problem is. In fact, medication can become less effective over time as the thyroid continues to deteriorate as a result of the root cause not being addressed. And over-medicating can even trigger what is called secondary hypothyroidism. Now, medication doesn't address why you might have low thyroid hormone in the first place. And if you have an autoimmune disorder, it doesn't stop the body from attacking the healthy thyroid tissue. It's simply not the mechanism for how thyroid medication works. But the good news is that there are natural ways to support your thyroid health so that you can prevent thyroid issues from happening and even reverse an existing thyroid disorder if you've been diagnosed with one. Now, in part 1 of this blog series, I addressed step number 1, which was knowing your thyroid numbers. Now, knowing your thyroid numbers is important for a couple of reasons. One is to understand the type of thyroid imbalance, whether it's hypo, hyper, or autoimmune that you might have. 2 is to evaluate your risk or how severe your thyroid situation is so that you know how much support your thyroid needs. And 3 is to get a baseline so that you can measure progress with different therapies that you might introduce in order to support or heal your thyroid. Now, in part 2 of this blog series, I addressed step number 2, controlling what you can. The majority of thyroid disorders are a result of your lifestyle choices or factors such as the foods that you choose to eat, the quality and quantity of sleep that you're receiving, frequency and intensity of the exercise that you're doing, how you deal with stress and emotions or how you don't, and the toxins that you're exposed to and your body's ability to detox them. And then there's other underlying things like hormone imbalances, a sluggish liver, poor digestion, and an overwhelmed immune system that should be explored. But this all means that you have more control over your thyroid health than you might think. Now, it's impossible to be perfect every minute of the day when it comes to maybe your food, sleep, exercise, stress, and environment. But the key is to be present and start to notice what is going on in your lifestyle that might be impacting your thyroid health and how you can make choices to support your body in the ways that it needs most so that your thyroid can thrive. Now, the third step to supporting and healing your thyroid is definitely a topic that most health professionals aren't talking about, which is funny because it actually involves communication and trust. So there is more to thyroid health than the scientific approaches of modern medicine, and this is important for you to know. The study of epigenetics, frequency, and vibrational energy has proven to us over time how health is impacted by our beliefs and our experiences throughout our lifetime. So in this week's video, I want to share with you the third and final major step that I took to boost my thyroid health so that I can feel like myself again, medication free, and that has helped others to do the same in the work that I have done with them. So without further ado, in the last part of this series, let's go ahead and jump into step 3. Now, after being diagnosed with Hashimoto's hypothyroidism, I took immediate action to support my thyroid by changing my diet, getting more sleep, dialing back my exercise intensity, meditating ritually to offset stress, creating an even more toxin-free environment, adding in additional supplements to support the healing process, and testing for other contributing factors such as viruses, parasites, bacteria, and yeast. I had all of the scientific approaches nailed, but something was still slowing down my healing process, and I just wasn't getting to a point that I wanted to be in quick enough. And this is when I remember something that I tell my clients. Healthy is a way of being, not just doing. I was doing all of the healthy things, but who was I being that led to a decline in my thyroid health was the next question that I had to ask myself. I struggled with negative self-talk every time I looked in the mirror. I judged myself for not doing or being better. At times, I blamed my body for failing me. I wanted to control everything, and yet I didn't always openly or clearly communicate my needs. And that's when I embarked on the third and final major step in reclaiming my thyroid health. Step 3 is to trust and communicate. In various Eastern medicine and healing modalities throughout the world, the thyroid is related to the throat chakra. Now, chakras are known as energy centers located in specific places of the body that help to regulate processes such as organ function, the immune system, and even our emotions. The throat chakra is located exactly as indicated at the throat, and it is related to the thyroid, mouth, throat, and ears, which is ironic given my history of ear infections as a child into my 20s, as well as it's related to our ability to express and communicate. When the throat chakra is out of balance, it might show up as things like maybe over or under communicating in ways, an inability to express yourself or stand up for your beliefs or follow your dreams. It could show up in more physical ways like a sore throat, asthma, or fatigue. Maybe you find yourself struggling to find your words, and then definitely as thyroid disorders. Almost all of which had been obstacles for me throughout various times in my life, despite the fact that I was an overachiever, A-type personality. So as part of step 3, I engaged in some transformational personal self-growth work to rewire some of those negative old belief systems and build my ability to communicate my needs with confidence. Now, along with this process, I also had to learn to trust my body again. It hadn't failed me. If anything, I had failed it in a way. I forgot to appreciate all of the hard work that my body and my thyroid were doing for me on a daily basis. I pushed the limits and resisted taking days of rest due to my own internal inner critic and judgments about what would happen if I did or what others might think. And so what I did is just one day at a time, I started to shift my mindset, learn to trust my body again, and build my ability to communicate confidently by doing these things. Looking in the mirror with appreciation, writing down 3 things I was grateful for daily, working with wonderful life coaches to realign my beliefs about my body and life, taking time to do one thing for myself each day, such as meditate, maybe a long lunch or getting a massage, and talking openly about my journey and letting those around me know how they could support me best in this process. Now, not everyone around me understood what I was doing or could relate to it, but that was okay. Sometimes we have to leave people where they are, not behind necessarily, just where they are, in order for us to move forward in pursuit of our goals and our dreams. So as a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and master transformational coach trained in functional lab testing, data-guided health protocols, and neuro-linguistic programming, I now help people reclaim their health in similar ways as I have so that they can feel like themselves again, or for maybe the very first time. Now, if you want to get your hands on the right lab tests and resources and have a guide to walk you through these 3 steps that I've shared with you over the last couple of weeks, then I want to invite you to schedule an ideal health and weight discovery session with me by clicking on the links below so that we can explore the possibilities of you getting back to feeling like yourself too, or preventing thyroid issues down the road. I hope that you guys have found this series incredibly insightful for ways that you can prevent a thyroid issue or to heal one that you might already have. And I will look forward to seeing you guys next week on the blog.